Welcome into Bengals Breakdown. I am your host, Stone Shields. Thank you so much for joining us here today as we are getting ready for Chiefs versus Bengals. And my goodness, that matchup just sounds big, doesn't it? It gets me really fired up, and I know it gets you guys fired up as well. On today's show, we're going to be taking a look at 10 players to watch on Sunday from both teams, not just exclusively the Bengals, but 10 players to watch. And by the way, I'm doing a little solo producing right now, so if you see me look down, just trying to do multiple things here at once, so just bear with me as I try to do that. But make sure you guys follow me over on Twitter at StoneShields_. All of our content from Bengals Breakdown will be posted to my Twitter page, so help me out, give me a follow there. Trying to get to 500 followers by the end of the month. We're on a pretty good pace right now, but I know we can keep it going. So help me out. Hit that follow button at StoneShields_. All my personal thoughts will be on there, along with all of our content. So hit that hit that follow button rather at StoneShields_. All right, 10 players to watch. Here we go. I had to start out the list with Joe Burrow, of course. That kind of goes without saying, right? I am interested to see how he does in this game because Joe Burrow is always one of those guys that rises to the occasion. The bigger the moment, the better he plays. And certainly week one against, a New England team that on paper wasn't supposed to be any good, Joe Burrow really wasn't any good either. I didn't think he was bad necessarily. I think he did a good job of, holding on to the football, almost had a fumble, but for the most part protected the football, but he was just too conservative. He's going to have to be a lot more aggressive in Sunday's game if the Bengals have a chance to win. He's going to have to be special. Why is he going to have to be special? Well, he's going against this guy, Patrick Mahomes. I think it's my belief that these are the two best quarterbacks in the National Football League, and they're going to be going head-to-head here on Sunday. Mahomes, we know what he brings to the table, right? We know his brilliance, all the Super Bowls that he has won in his short career already, the MVPs, all the accolades are there for this guy. But when he plays Cincinnati, he seems to come down to earth a little bit. And I think a lot of that has to do with Lou Anarumo and his scheme and how the Bengals approach trying to defend Patrick Mahomes. But really, the Bengals have had a lot of success against him. Obviously, last year in the regular season, Bengals didn't have Joe Burrow. Jake Browning was doing the quarterbacking then, so I kind of throw that one out the window. But this matchup is going to be absolutely incredible. If you don't think they're the two best quarterbacks, you can't really argue that they're not two of the best quarterbacks. I don't think you can argue anyone's better than Mahomes, by the way. But both of these guys had to put them on this list without a doubt. The two biggest stars in this game, and both of which are guys that really rise to the occasion and play their best in their biggest moments. That leads us to the pinned comment of today's show. Who do you think is going to play better in this game on Sunday? Is it going to be Joe Burrow or is it going to be Patrick Mahomes? Type JB if you think it's going to be Joe Burrow, or type PM if you think it is going to be Patrick Mahomes. That ad comes here on YouTube. That's totally fine. Take advantage of it. Get down in the comment section and let us know what you think. All right, third player to watch, Jamar Chase, right? He seems to be back a little bit acting like himself. He was, chirping a little with the media, talking about how he believes the Bengals are the team to beat in the AFC. That's the kind of Jamar that we are used to, right? That's the kind of guy that, he said those things in previous years. I talked about during our watch party how he didn't look like himself out there. Obviously, there was the food poisoning that potentially occurred. I think it did, if that was the report out there. But nonetheless, Bengals need Chase to get back to his old form, and they need him to play really, really well in this game. There's absolutely no doubt about that. I have a close eye on Jamar Chase in this one. From the Kansas City perspective, I got Rashee Rice on this list. I thought Rashee Rice really did an incredible job in Kansas City's opener against the Baltimore Ravens. I think he was really brilliant in that game. When you talk about the routes over the middle, those slants, Mahomes just puts it absolutely right on him. And you saw a lot of yards after the catch from Rashee Rice as well. So it'll be interesting to see who the Bengals have matched up on Rashee Rice. But when he's cutting across the middle of the field, those linebackers have to be aware of that as well. And somebody's going to have to be there to tackle him. Kansas City's got a lot of speed with Rice, and of course their rookie Xavier Worthy as well. Very well could have put Worthy on this list, but went with Rashee Rice. He seems to be Mahomes' favorite wide receiver target, of course, apart from Travis Kelce, and he's a guy the Bengals are really going to have to slow down if they're going to have success on Sunday. Fifth guy here on this list, I got Sam Hubbard. Look, I love Sam Hubbard. I know all Bengals fans love Sam Hubbard. He's a Cincinnati kid, but he's got to be better. He did not do enough for me. Didn't do enough for the team. But last week, week 1 against the Patriots, it really was just Trey Hendrickson or nothing when it came to that pass rush. That's how it was last year as well. And I know that's not what Sam Hubbard's really known for, right? He's not a pass rush guy. But really, when you look at their whole defensive line, it kind of felt like Trey Hendrickson was the only guy that showed up. And if Trey Hendrickson is ever going to be able to get home on the quarterback, he's going to need some help from his boys as well. Sam Hubbard's got to step up and play well in this game. And, of course, Sam Hubbard has played well in this game in the past against these Kansas City Chiefs. We'll continue with our ladder 5 here in a moment, but first, I want to give a shout-out to our friends over at Game Time, because today's show is presented by Game Time. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Game Time Picks is the easiest way to find and buy tickets to live events. Bengals versus Chiefs is the Game Time game of the week, and you can get tickets for this game on Game Time. They have the best deals possible. Look, I was at Arrowhead Stadium for the Bengals' first AFC Championship, the one in which they won. Where did we get our tickets? Game Time. It was absolutely awesome. And, obviously not a fan of the Chiefs, but Arrowhead Stadium, it's a great place to watch a football game. I love the panoramic view from your seats. Get a view of your seats in the app before you buy with Game Time. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. All right, our latter 10 guys here on this list. Number 6, I got Chris Jones. Look, Chris Jones, Dan Pitcher, Bengals offensive coordinator, called him one of the hardest guys to game plan for. Chris Jones. This guy is an absolute stud. He's a beast, and the Bengals need to make sure he isn't wrecking havoc on their offensive game plans, because that is exactly what he does. He wrecks games. He is 100% a game wrecker. The Bengals have to have all of their resources allocated towards stopping, or you're not going to stop him, but slowing down Chris Jones. He's just that good of a football player, and when I think of what he brings to the table, I am a little bit concerned in terms of seeing Chris Jones bearing down on Joe Burrow. So what is your concern level going against Chris Jones? Scale it for us in the comments, 1 to 10. Sound off for us. Give us your thoughts here on today's show. Look, Burrow has had success against Jones in the past. No doubt about that. Of course, the Bengals have some wins against him, but he always seems to be a guy that is just has his nose in the mix. And the Bengals are going to need to try to limit that if they want to have success offensively and allow or prevent him from wrecking the game. Number 7 on this list, I got Geno Stone. I really hyped up Geno Stone all offseason long and was really excited about what he was going to bring to the table for Cincinnati this year. And I still remain optimistic, but first game wasn't his best. He missed several tackles that he should have made, and I just didn't see him, flying around making the plays that kind of I expected him to make. But I believe he can do it. We saw him do it last year with Baltimore, so I'm going to have a close eye on him on Sunday. Really hope he can do a good job of kind of bouncing back after what I thought was a pretty lackluster performance out of him this past weekend. Playing the Chiefs, obviously have to put this guy on your watch list. Travis Kelce, he seems to be, ageless. Honestly, he just seems to be getting better and better. I know he didn't have a, massive game week 1, but I think this guy's a guy that can pop off at any given point. The chemistry that he has with Mahomes, he just always seems to find a way to get open. What's dangerous about this guy is Mahomes escapes the pocket and is buying time, which he does better than absolutely anybody. He's looking for this guy, number 87, and the Bengals certainly are aware of that. I think every team in the NFL is aware of that, but can you stop it is the question. And, a lot of people struggle with that. So the Bengals can't allow Travis Kelce to kill them like he has done to so many teams in the past. But I think the Bengals have done a pretty good job dealing with Travis Kelce in the past. Hopefully that continues on Sunday. We'll keep it in the tight end room, but this time on Cincinnati side with Mike Gesicki. Look, I don't want to just come on here and bang on Tanner Hudson. The fumble obviously was bad. I said he could be a surprise cut candidate. I probably would have let go of him, moved on from him, and have him not even be a part of this team, just if I'm being completely honest with you. But I like what I see from Gesicki when he's running around out there. I think some of those targets that Hudson got against the Patriots should have gone to Gesicki. He very nearly had an incredible touchdown. Ball popped out, when he was coming to the ground. But I want to see him get more involved with the Bengals' offensive game plan. I think he's, a really underrated athlete who can do valuable things for your team in the slot. And I think Zac Taylor, Dan Pitcher, and the Bengals need to utilize him a little bit more, and I hope that starts on Sunday. Lastly, I get the kickers, both of them. I only got, Bucker's face here, but McPherson as well. Why do I have kickers on this list? When you have a game against two good football teams, Bengals trying to prove they're good, but I think we all know that they are good and they will prove it at some point. You got to have a good kicker because if you're in a competitive football game, it's going to come down to the wire. So we'll see who has the edge in this kicking advantage, or this kicking competition, rather. We'll see if anybody misfires. I think, if a missed kick could be, what decides this football game ultimately. And I feel really confident in what Evan McPherson can do. His kick, by the way, this past week was just absolutely nails. I don't think anyone really has talked about it because everyone's so disappointed by the result of that game, and understandably so. But McPherson, I always feel confident with him out there. He's another guy that shows up in big-time moments, but so does Bucker. So we'll see if either one of those kickers flinch or if both those guys remain perfect in Week 2. Speaking of Week 2, we will have our second watch party here at Bengals Breakdown. We will be live 1 hour before the Bengals kick it off at Arrowhead Stadium. That is 3:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be live. Really looking forward to that. Hope you guys join us. In order to do that, you got to hit that sub button. That's youtube.com/BengalsTV.